Audio testing, 1, 2, 3. Please let me know if it's audible enough or not. Would be glad to know that. Let's make some adjustments. How's everyone doing today? Audio testing, 1, 2, 3. I think so, it's working. No, we're not doing that. Okay, cool. Hi everyone, welcome. I'll just get the background music out of the way. You can hear me. Thank you very much for confirming, Athens. So today I'm going to react to an interview that Dapper did. It's on his channel also, with Daria, who is Alevtina Soboleva's daughter. And I will just put the link for you in the live chat for that. And I'll give a brief introduction of what this is about. You're mostly okay? That's good to know, Orange. And it's also good to know that the audio is fine. So tonight, what are we doing? So first of all, thank you for coming, everyone. This is a rather serious topic, and hopefully I can do good justice to this topic when we talk today. So I'm going to do a react stream to Daria's interview with Dapper. Dapper was very kind enough to conduct that and upload it on his channel. And this is about the detention of Daria's mother after what was supposed to be an ordinary domestic trip to Niagara Falls. And before we begin, I want to explain exactly how I'm going to approach this. This is an active immigration case. The interview, it is emotionally difficult, and it contains serious allegations involving things like denial of water, restroom access, medication, adequate clothing, glasses, hearing support, and also confidential access to legal counsel. I'm not going to turn those allegations into entertainment, and I'm not going to treat a YouTube stream, I'll try my best not to treat it as though it were a courtroom. And if you see me looking a lot sideways, it's because I'm going through my notes. I've made very specific notes for the live stream, so I don't say something insensitive or something that's not related to the topic that I'm going to talk today about. I'm also going to make it very clear that I'm not an immigration lawyer. My professional background is in safety, quality, and compliance. So my point of view, or my lens, it's going to be from the aspect of systems, controls, traceability, accountability, and also risk. When a person is taken into custody and transferred between multiple locations, a competent system should be able to answer some basic questions. Who has the custody? Under what authority? Where is the person? What information has been given to the person and their lawyer? What medical and accessibility needs have been identified? What controls are in place to ensure continuity of care? What happens when the database, the facility, and the lawyer all appear to have different information, or sometimes no information at all? Those are not partisan questions. These are very basic governance and process questions. Thanks, Athens. Athens from the live chat. I will try to distinguish between several kinds of information throughout this stream. First, there is what Daria says. She personally saw and heard at Buffalo Airport, where this started from. I will call that her first-hand account. Second, there is what Alevtina, that's her mother, has reportedly told Daria after they were finally able to communicate. That is still an important testimony, but it is being relayed through Daria. I'll make it very clear. Third, there are documents prepared or preserved by the family, including their timeline, locator screenshots, and the reported email stating that Alevtina has been deported when she apparently had not been deported. And that was also one of my concerns here today. Fourth, there is independent reporting, which we'll talk about. This story has made it to the news. Although it's local news, it's a start. It's a good start. There are articles written about this case and about Daria and her mother. And Daria has been able to give interviews to a local news channel also that I will play as we go through. So Daria's account, her mother's account, and documents that have been preserved, independent reporting, and then fifth, there are also official rules and published standards. And finally, there are things the public materials simply does not establish at all. That last category, it matters because supporting a family does not require pretending we know everything or we know every fact, what is exactly going on. In fact, the strongest form of advocacy is honest enough to say, quote, this is documented, this is reported, this is disputed, this remains unknown, unquote. So this is all I want to establish before we start the stream, so please bear with me. Here is the current public update as I understand it today. As of today, which is now for me, 1st of August. It might be still 31st of July for a lot of people in the live chat. The family campaign says Alevtina was detained on 20th of July, 2026, moved through 3 facilities in under 3 days, and remained at the South Louisiana ICE Processing Center in Basile, Louisiana. The campaign says her immigration court case was entered on the docket on 29th of July, 9 days after the detention started. It says her first telephone conversation with her lawyer after the airport encounter occurred on 30th of July. So that's just around 24 hours ago. Using the facility's ordinary recorded line rather than a confidential legal line. It also says her first hearing is scheduled for 12th of August. Independent Bay Area reporting confirmed that ICE records show her in custody in Basile as of 30th of July, and the reporting stated that ICE had not responded to its request for comment by publication time. Those are current claims and reports. Hi Hoyner, thank you for joining us. So this is all what the current situation is and the current status is. And these are not permanent facts. This situation and status is ever evolving. It can change quickly. So anything that might get announced after this stream will obviously supersede to what I have just said. Okay. That's a lot that I wanted to get out of the way before we start. Sorry about this. I also want to be precise about legal language from the beginning. A pending asylum application is not the same thing as a grant of asylum. A work permit is not the same thing as permanent residence. A California Real ID is not a certificate of citizenship and does not make a person immune from immigration enforcement. I'm not going to make the weak argument that possession of those documents by itself proves ICE had no authority to detain her. The stronger argument is this. Alevtina reportedly entered the United States lawfully, filed an asylum application, obtained work authorization, lived openly with her daughter, used her own identity, traveled domestically, and had no reported criminal history. Yet her family says she was abruptly taken, moved across several states, difficult to locate, unable to contact counsel confidentially, and exposed to conditions that caused serious health concerns. Whatever the ultimate legal ruling on detention, those circumstances deserve scrutiny. Yes, please, Triceratops. Like and share both this and the original. Yes, I have put Dapper's interview on Dapper's channel in the live chat. That's the link. And I'm reacting to the interview that I uploaded on Debate Hub. It's the same copy, but it's on Debate Hub because we're trying to spread around the interview as much as possible so that it might get into the algorithm. So it being on different channels helps, and another channel reacting to it hopefully will help it further spread on the internet. So continuing from what I was saying, the constitutional baseline is also worth stating. ICE is a federal agency, so the relevant due process clause is in the Fifth Amendment. It says that, quote, no person, unquote, shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without the due process of law. It says person, not citizen. Non-citizens who are physically present in the United States generally fall within due process protection. Although the precise scope depends on the legal posture and issue, due process does not guarantee that a person receives the outcome they want. It does require lawful procedure and a meaningful opportunity to be heard. Obviously, there are a few chat rules that we have here. We are not going to attempt to identify individual officers from any fragments of information that we might come across. No speculation about confidential basis of Alevatina's asylum claim. No declaring unidentifiable people guilty of crimes without evidence. No attacks on Daria's English, her accent, reputations, or emotional presentation, please. She's describing a crisis involving her mother in a second language while visibly distressed. Criticism of government conduct and policy is absolutely allowed. Dehumanization is not. Commenting does not hurt in the algorithm either. You're correct, Orange. I will also try and correct myself openly if I make a factual mistake. I am not asking people to choose between compassion and accuracy. I want both. We need both. Compassion and accuracy. With that said, I will start the stream and hopefully I can go through it properly. Let me just get on my notes and see where I'm starting from. So hopefully all that was, I hope I got my point across before we started. So, okay. Let's see, let's test if this is working.
To see Niagara Falls. There were two men staying next to my mom, and they should not have seen Niagara Falls. That was her dream. She was begging for water. No one.
So again, this is distressing. Please be aware and please be cautious. If you want to step away, please step away. There is no compulsion that you have to watch this. Or if you want to listen to this and not watch this, that is also fine. Yes, trigger warning. Thanks, Athens.
Here, and then I hugged my mom, and then she was crying, and she was like, "What is gonna happen?" I don't understand, like, if these are actual like human beings, because people have, like, everyone has a mother, right?
Before we start, some context. On July 20th, ICE detained a 59-year-old woman named Alevtina Soboleva at the Buffalo airport. She has no criminal record. She is an asylum applicant who followed all the rules for 4 years. Her daughter Daria couldn't find her for 4 days. She tracked her own mother through ICE's public website across 3 facilities in 3 states. At one point, the family was told she'd been deported. She hadn't been. Today, Daria tells her side of it. One note before we begin, we pre-recorded this conversation so Daria could stop whenever she needed to. She's talking about the hardest week of her life. Some of what her mother has told her, she's going to keep private. You'll understand why. Here's Daria. Hi, I'm Timothy, and Daria, could you introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Daria, and I'm here to talk about my mom's situation.
Okay, so my understanding is that something happened with you and your mother back on July 20th of 2026. Take me back to July 20th. Where were...
So we see from the start that the first thing that happened was that the first 27 seconds or almost a minute is a montage. It is not a, sorry, the first 27 seconds, it's a montage, and it's not a continuous chronological account, right? It places several emotionally powerful statements next to one another, and this is a hope that this is trying to raise a question whether people involved recognize Daria's mother's humanity or not. So again, it's been designed for emotional impact. There's nothing improper about that. Every documentary, every interview, report makes these editorial choices. And then Dapper, he goes on to give a concise case summary. A 59-year-old asylum applicant, no reported criminal record, 4 days without contact, 3 facilities in 3 states, and a family allegedly told she had been deported when she had not been. And this is where my major concern is, that people can get lost. Now think about children, if it involves minors, and something like that happens to minors who are in such custody. Several of those points are central to the story that have been brought up, and we will look into what evidentiary status we have about all of them. The detention and current custody, again, they have been independently reported, and the family's public materials say documentary evidence exists for the locator history and the deported quote-unquote email. It's in the description if you want to see. There are if I bring this up, if I go here, so there's a press kit and there's a website, bringmymomhome.com, and it talks, if we look here, let me just bring it down a bit and just make it a bit more larger. So it talks about a story, and it also talks about the latest interview that has been done. So we'll go through that also. So all the coverage, her story, who she is, when she entered US, when she filed for asylum, when she got her, she has got her work permit, everything. So it's all present here, all the timeline. So the person who has made this website, they have done a very good job, and talks about what happened. We'll have a quick look through that also if we have time. And it talks about her health. Again, what risk factors are there and how to help. It also talks how can we help her. So if I can, now I'll move up a bit just to make sure. 2 ways to stand with her. For everyone, share this page as much as you can, send a letter of support. And for the press, interviews with Daria Soboleva and legal counsel are available. And the number and the email address are there if you want to contact them to arrange an interview. So this is a very, very informational website. If you want to go there, you can have a look. Let me put that into the live chat for you. There we go. So going back, let's get this back into position. Oh, sorry. What's going on here? Okay, here we go. So yes, Dapper has given a very concise summary. So one distinction I would like to make is the transport condition allegations largely come from Alevtina, later told by Daria. From what Alevtina told Daria. And I think Dapper made a very wise choice and important decision to pre-record the conversation and allowing Daria to stop. When a person is recounting something traumatic or acutely distressing, I think a live interview can create pressure to keep speaking and to fill in gaps or pauses or silence, and to perform composure or answer questions before they are ready. Pre-recording gives the participant more control, time to prepare. That is a very good people-centered approach, and it's worth recognizing. So good job, Dapper, on that. So at the same time, Dapper has said that Alevtina followed rules for all 4 years that she was in US. That may be accurately reflected in the family's documents and understanding, but as viewers, we should still treat it as an advocacy statement unless we have reviewed the complete immigration file. We do not need to exaggerate at all. The publicly described facts are already significant: lawful entry in October 2021, an asylum application, work authorization pending process, and no reported criminal history. So, okay, so I'll just let them keep going. Just give me a second.
Were you when this started?
So me and my mom were on vacation. We went to see Niagara Falls in Buffalo, New York, and we were coming back to California, to San Francisco, where we both live, and we checked in and everything. We went through the control system, and we were at the gate waiting for the plane. I think it was 1 hour before the departure. And then I went to get coffee for both of us, and I was away for like 10 minutes, and I came back, and there were 2 men staying next to my mom, and they looked like general people from the airport. Like, they looked like just normal people who are flying. They were not wearing any uniform, and when I came to my mom, they started talking. They asked, is that Soboleva? And later I found out that actually they were staying next to both of us for some time, and they waited until I left. And then they came to my mom, and they already started asking her questions without me, but she said that she's waiting for her daughter. And so when I came back, they started asking me. I remember my mom was very emotional because she was scared that I am nervous, because when I saw them, this is like 2 random people. They do want something. I was scared because I don't know, like, it's just me and my mom there and 2 random people. So she was like very like emotional, trying to say that I can see my daughter is nervous. What do you want? And so when I started asking them, they told me that they are immigration police, and they're just here to check my mom's documents. Then I remember asking them for any documentation, like their ID. Who are they? They did not show me any ID. They just showed me briefly, like I don't know, some label on their like trousers. But then they like closed it back, so like they were really hiding. I felt like they're hiding who they are in that spot. And then I said that her documents are all fine, but you can talk to her lawyer. And so I dialed my mom's lawyer, because I have her number, because I
So I'll stop here. This is Daria's first-hand account of the airport encounter. According to her, she and her mother had checked in, passed through the relevant airport screening process, and were waiting at the gate. Daria went to get coffee. When she returned, 2 ordinary-looking men were standing beside her mother. They were not in uniform. She says they had apparently waited until she left before beginning to question Alevtina. I want to be careful here. Plain clothes do not automatically mean impersonation, kidnapping, or unlawful conduct. Law enforcement and immigration officers can operate in plain clothes. That's the irony in this situation, I guess. And we do not have any operational order or officer identities. We don't have any airport footage, body camera footage, or custody paperwork in front of us, which is also disappointing because that would help Daria and Alevtina a lot. And that's also one of the concerns that I have, that there is, you could say, this initial lack of record and paperwork. So I'm not, I will try not to use any sensational terms here, and that might outrun the evidence or do injustice to the evidence that's there. Daria's confusion here is entirely understandable. From her perspective, two unknown men just approached her mother at an airport, questioned her while Daria was away, and did not clearly present identification when asked. Usually in US, people demand identification from officers, especially law enforcement officers. And Daria over here has said that one of them briefly exposed some form of label near the trousers and then covered it again. That is her recollection, and that is what I'm going to label it as. And over here, the problem is not whether the detention was legally authorized. It is whether a family member could reasonably understand who was taking her mother. That's the main point. Under what authority and where she was going. In such a safety critical or actually compliance control process, I think positive identification matters a lot. If a contractor enters a controlled workplace, from where I come from, they identify themselves, their employer, their authority, and the purpose of their work. If someone moved through a custody system, the need for clear identification is even greater because liberty is being restricted. And that's why I read out the Fifth Amendment at the start, that no person will be denied of liberty. Also, ambiguity increases fear. Lack of information increases fear, increases the chance of resistance or misunderstanding, and makes later accountability very, very harder. Daria also mentioned that these men who approached her mother, they looked like very ordinary passengers. And she had no idea initially whether they were police or immigration or who were they. And just try and imagine the cognitive load on this person in that moment. She just went to buy a cup of coffee, or a couple of cups of coffee, and she returns and there are two strangers besides her mother. She'll be, and her mother is frightened. So Daria is not only worried for her mother, she's worried for herself, her mother, and then there's this uncertainty. Sorry, I can't speak sometimes. There's uncertainty there, and she's trying to work out whether this is law enforcement, security, or even if it's a scam, or something else. We have impersonators getting arrested nowadays a lot, but a lot of them do get away before and have already caused harm before they are caught. So even if these officers possessed lawful authority, a procedure that leaves people involved unable to verify basic identity is a poor procedure, in my opinion. Hi, Brick with Eyes. Hello. So, yeah. Just give me 1 second. Okay. I'm still surprised that it would be very interesting to see if we could get our hands on the airport CCTV records showing how they approached Daria's mother, Alevtina. Were the officers carrying any credentials? Was any verbal identification provided? Was a badge or warrant, administrative paperwork, or notice to appear served? Were there any body cameras? What agency did the third man represent when Daria says he described himself as a ordinary police rather than immigration police? So yeah, let her just finish this and then we'll go on.
Worked with my mom and her lawyer to get all of her documents in correct order. I'm a very responsible person, and so I knew that everything is fine. And I called the lawyer, and they said that we need to move.
Before we move on, I would like to say the detail that men allegedly waited until Daria left is also important, but we should not assume motive here. Let's not assume any motive. It may have been tactical, incidental, or perceived differently by the people involved. We don't know. And also, if we notice here, Daria said that her mother became distressed because Daria was frightened. And that is a common, response of parents or, a relational dynamic that there is in crisis. People, fearing for each other. And that's why it's very important that clear communication is there. And that is one of the simplest controls for reducing any escalation. My name is this, I'm with this agency, this is why we need to speak with you, this is where we are taking you, this is the document authorizing it. This is how your lawyer can reach us. Even when a person disagrees with the action, clarity can reduce chaos. All right.
Somewhere else, we cannot talk here in the airport. And that was the third person that came as well, who was wearing just, I guess, like no uniform.
Hi, Dapper. Dapper from the live chat said, I felt like I have to drop in, but I can't stay. This whole thing has been incredibly emotionally draining. I can barely listen back. Fuck ice. Yeah. I don't blame you, Dapper. It is very emotionally draining. I'm an immigrant, and yeah. This is frightening, actually. And my parents wanted me to go to America. Heck no. Not anymore. Alright.
Just an average-looking man who said that he is just general, regular police. He's not immigration police.
Oh yeah,
but they said that they need to take mom outside. I asked if I can go with them. They asked how old I am. I don't know why. I answered that question. They said that I cannot go with her. But then I dialed in the attorney, and we started talking, and this is when they said, okay, you can go with us like to this exit. And so we went to some exit, I think emergency exit on the floor. And basically on the staircase, her lawyer was talking to this ICE person, as far as I understand it. This is who he is. And my attorney asked, what's the reason why you are trying to check her documents? I said, because she does not have a legal status in the US. And then attorney was like, but she is a pending asylum. And do you know that everything is in order? He did not answer that question. And then attorney was asking, where are you taking her? And the ICE person said, Batavia, Buffalo. And attorney was like, but why you are doing this? She lives in California. She lives in Sunnyvale. Why you are taking her to the Batavia location? And that person just ignored it and said he doesn't have enough, more time. And so the only thing that I was doing there, I was asking attorney if I should release my mom. Attorney said there is nothing that we can do at this point. I asked attorney if I should take anything from my mom or I should give something to her. Attorney said to take your passport.
So in this whole So far with what Daria has said, it becomes really, really evident that why presence of counsel becomes important. One, everything is now going on record on the counsel side. So the counsel can later verify, yeah, this happened. I asked these questions, they weren't answered. And this is the most sensible thing that Daria did under pressure. So kudos to her. She telephoned her mother's lawyer. She says she had worked with the lawyer and her mother to keep the documents in order. So she already had the contact details available and on her, which is very good. Always do that when you are an immigrant and your status is pending or anything similar. Please make sure you have the details of your immigration lawyer or your counsel with you, depending on what type of counsel you have. Always have those details on you and ready at hand. Now, according to Daria, the attorney, like we have seen here, the attorney was asking why the documents were being checked, and an officer said Alevtina did not have legal status in the United States. The attorney then referred to the pending asylum application. That is that is where a lot of confusion comes in. When someone is part of a legal process, their status is not legal, or their status is not illegal. They're part of the process. That makes their status legal, in my opinion. I'm not an immigration lawyer, but that is how I see it. That is why due process is important, and that is why I think so this language that is being used here, legal and illegal, is very vague, in my opinion, and non-specific. Because there are people who have not started the due process. You could say, yeah, their status is in question. There are people who are part of the due process, so their status is pending. And there are people who have come on the other side of the status, where their status has been defined now. Then maybe you can say if their status is whether they are allowed in the country or not, and then you talk about whether they can be deported or not, or asked to leave the country. But this legal illegal is really, really vague. It really erases the line and the sanctity of the process, in my opinion. That's just my simple opinion. I could be wrong. So this whole exchange right now, we are hearing this through Daria, and this is not from a recording or from the attorney's statement, so that source label matters. Now, let us, like we said, I tried untangling the legal status, and that's what I think, that immigration language, it gets really quickly converted into slogans. And that is really, really sad, and actually very harmful, especially towards immigrants or people who are in America. Athens from the live chat said, my cousin's dad is an immigrant. They are part Mexican/Hispanic and live in Texas. I have to worry about him being targeted by ICE and racists. I think he's been here for over 30 plus years. I don't know. Orange Dot says their sister's father was born in the Philippines. So yeah, now people who have been living in US for 30 plus more years can also come under scrutiny. So according to the public account, Alevtina entered on a visitor visa in October 2021. She later filed an affirmative asylum application in April 2022, received employment authorization. A pending asylum application is a recognized legal process. So she's part of a legal process. But obviously it does not by itself mean that the applicant has been granted asylum. But she's still legal because she's part of a legal process. An employment authorization document allows employment under relevant category. It does not settle every question about removability or even detention. So neither side should rely on such simplistic sentence that she had no status, therefore nothing else matters, that's too crude. And then to say she had a work permit and real ID, therefore detention was legally impossible, is also too crude. My point is, she was already part of the legal process. So why this detention was necessary is very weird, if I might say, and not explained at all. And that's why it's important. There are no records to explain this, why this detention was necessary, when Alevtina is already part of a legal process. And she has been, as far as we know, she has been compliant. She hasn't ran away, like Daria said, and we have seen. She has been living under her real identity, employed under her real identity, has done everything right. So why this detention was necessary? There's no explanation of that. No worries, Landon. My pleasure. My honor, actually. So, the legally serious questions are more specific, if I might say. What was her immigration classification on July 20th? What charging document was served? Again, as I said, why was this detention necessary? Under which statutory detention authority did, this whole agency act? What factual allegations and legal charges appear in the notice to appear? When was the document served on her? When was it filed with the immigration court? Was the pending asylum application still with USCIS at that moment? And what procedural mechanism moved the matter into removal proceedings? There's no information on that part. And this ambiguity causes a lot of, it scares people when they don't know what's going on. Why do that? Why put people through that? It's a form of torture, if I might dare say. According to me, if we evaluate the quality of the process, and over here a lawyer is saying my client has a pending asylum application, please tell me the basis and the destination. The system should be able to provide an intelligible response or identify the document containing it. Could say you could go on this site and have a look, or okay, yeah, I'm emailing you the document right now, or you will be provided the document will come from this email address within 4 to 5 days or 2 to 3 working days, something. Obviously, counsel does not have the automatic veto over custody, but counsel needs enough information to advise the client and protect their procedural rights. And over here, nothing is being provided to them. They are getting ignored. Their questions are getting ignored. Also, I will make a distinction here. The right to counsel in immigration proceedings is different from the right many people associate with criminal court. What's going on in the Discord? Oh, God. What's going on here? Wow. Holy shit. What's this? Oh, asylum seekers could be sent directly to deportation court under new rule. So they're just modifying rules, okay. This is another thing. We could talk about this during the debate hub. Thanks for sending this over. I think that this might be an important topic we could touch on in debate hub, which is day after tomorrow, if I'm not wrong. So yeah. Thanks, Jan. I just want to cover Daria's interview today. I will go through her the article that talks about her interview, and also I will share her interview that the local news channel did in the live chat. I won't go through it because I don't know if we might get a copyright strike because it's Fox 2. It's a news channel. So yeah, but we can talk about this during Debate Hub, the article that was just sent to me. All right, so continuing. So as I said, right to counsel in immigration proceedings is also different from the right many people associate with counsel in criminal code. A person may be represented by counsel, generally at no expense to the government. That makes access especially fragile. Some people can afford it, some people cannot. Families must find and pay counsel, and counsel must be able to locate the client. That's very important. Receive the relevant papers and communicate confidentially. If the person is rapidly transferred across states, the practical ability to exercise the right can collapse even though the right still exists on paper. This will be a recurring theme tonight. Formal access versus meaningful access. A telephone technically exists. A lawyer technically exists. A process technically exists. But can the person actually use any of them? Or access any of them? That's the thing. It looks very good on paper, but how practical it is. Like Daria also said that the officer didn't answer lawyers' questions about whether everything was in order. That silence, as reported, is not proof that the officer lacked authority. It does show why the family was left without a clear explanation. A direct ICE response could resolve much of this. They identify the authority, identify the paperwork, explain the timing, and explain why the airport was chosen for the detention. Like, what? All right. Carrying on. Let's get this further.
I took her passport, and then I hugged my mom, and then she was crying, and then she was like, "What is gonna happen? Am I gonna have handcuffs or something? And why they're treating me like this?" And they all said there are gonna be no handcuffs. We're just gonna check your documents in a couple of days here, and then we will transfer you to whatever place you guys want. This is what they said to me. I know this is probably not true, given this situation. Like, I haven't seen her since Monday. Today is Saturday. So this is not true. But I remember how my mom felt there. Like, she was very, very scared. She could not understand what's happening. And that's basically how it ended. Like, the last time I saw my mom, this is how it was. I'm sorry, that was like a very long description, but I wanted to
don't
give
be
you
sorry.
details and how I felt about it.
So
There's no reason for you to apologize. You're doing great. So
I commend Dapper for letting her know that it's okay to be human. It's her mother she's talking about, so it's human to be sad and to be upset and to be distressed about, because she doesn't know what's going on about her mother. The uncertainty, I don't know. I think so. Some people really underestimate how uncertainty causes distress and causes or frightens people. Some people really underestimate that. So I'll repeat, Daria said previously that the attorney asked where Alevtina was being taken and was told Batavia in Buffalo area. The attorney then asked why is she being taken there when she lives in Sunnyvale, California. Transfers and going to the doctor's office. Okay, Landon, yeah, you can come back and watch later. That's fine. And let me know if in the comment section if anything needs to be added or modified. If I left out something by any chance, just to make sure everything is on the table. So as I was saying, transfers and detention far from home are not automatically unlawful, but distance has practical consequences. Again, coming from a safety compliance perspective, a person's lawyer may be in California, their medical records and doctors may be in California, their family, language support, community witnesses, and evidence may be in California. And we know state to state, city to city, district to district, in USA, things change. They change. How things are recorded, how things are filed, everything changes. And what is accepted, not accepted, what documentation, medical records, it all changes. So moving someone to New York, then to Ohio, then Louisiana creates new handoffs at every stage. Every handoff creates a risk. Lost information, delayed medication, repeated intake, inaccessible communication, confusion about the responsible office, and difficulty assembling legal documents. Imagine Alevtina at each handoff and she's being asked questions. English is not her first language, and she's trying to understand again and again what she is supposed to provide from her side as information when they ask her these questions in English. The amount of stress that causes, she doesn't have her medications on her. Hello, Victoria. How are you doing? So yeah. In safety, we treat handovers as known point of failure. That's a crack where information is ready to fall through from. Just because you don't assume that because there was information that existed at location, or that existed or was available at location A, that it would arrive accurately or will be handed off accurately at location B. You should verify the transfer, and again, what medications are required. What assistive devices are needed? Does this person has hearing problem? Do they use hearing aids? Do they have a pacemaker? Do they have a stent somewhere in their heart, in their veins or heart or arteries or something anywhere that requires monitoring? Who has been notified in her family? What outstanding actions remain? Who owns the next step? Daria's account suggests that her mother was being moved faster than the information needed to protect her. And then when Daria asks whether she should take or give anything from her mother, the lawyer reportedly tells her to take Alevtina's passport. Daria hugged her mother, and Alevtina is crying and asks whether she will be handcuffed. Daria says the officials told them there would be no handcuffs, the documents would be checked over a couple of days, and that she could later be transferred to the place they wanted. Later in the interview, Daria relays that Alevtina's account of handcuffs, chains, and repeated interstate transfer. We'll see that later. They didn't handcuff her in front of people that were there present, but later when they were transferring her, Alevtina's account is mentioning that she was handcuffed and there were chains. So if the family's recollection of these assurances is accurate, the difference matters here. It's possible that the airport personnel, they didn't control the later transfer decisions. It may be that circumstances changed. It may be that assurances were imprecise or misunderstood. But that is exactly why officials should avoid making promises they cannot guarantee. And that is why everything should be in writing, so nothing can be misinterpreted. By the looks of it, nothing was provided in writing. And I wonder why. A clear statement should have been or would have been, I cannot promise where she will be held or whether restraints will be used during later transport. Here's the custody contact. Here is the process for counsel. Here is the documentation. False reassurance may calm a moment, but it causes deeper distress later. Especially, that's why people just don't start distrusting the system just like that, offhandedly. It's the previous experience that, molds what their attitude is towards the system at the present. That's the basics of what we study or what we learn when we are dealing in safety and compliance. People don't like to cooperate if their previous experiences have not been good, if there has been no feedback, if they have made any requests and there has been no feedback regarding it, or if they have given feedback and nobody has told them what has happened with that feedback. They don't trust the system in the present. Past experiences matter. Holy shit, this is making me more angry. I'm getting more angrier and angrier as I go through this. Fuck my life. Okay, alright. I also want to address something Daria said throughout the interview. Why did I let them take her? I would say she did not let law enforcement officials do anything in the sense that she had meaningful control. She contacted counsel, she asked questions, she tried to accompany her mother. The lawyer reportedly told her there was nothing she could physically do at that point. Responsibility for official conduct lies with the officials. So I would like to, if my words are any comfort for Daria, it's not that you let the law enforcement officials do anything. You did everything you could that was in your control at that point, and kudos to you for doing that. And kudos to you for fighting for your mom. But what the officials did, it's on them, not on you. So the responsibility doesn't transfer to you, Daria, because you choose to go and buy a coffee or you choose to go to Niagara Falls for a holiday. Or you could not physically prevent a detention. And then Daria is apologizing for giving a long description, or and for being emotional. And Dapper is really proper here. He's assuring her that she has no reason to apologize. That is the right response. And we have seen people under distress and stress, they apologize for taking time. They cry, they repeat themselves. And they apologize for not telling the story in perfect order. If anyone's good at it, they can later reconstruct their timeline as needed. So compassion is necessary. Yes, factual clarity is necessary, but we'll see later, Dapper is very good at reconstructing the timeline for factual clarity. So compassion should not take a backseat. All right, next.
Your mom was taken, and when she was at the airport, was she using a US ID?
Yes. She had a California driver license, Real ID, which is, we both use, I have the same, we both use to travel domestically. And when they were checking it, they said, you're all good to go.
So I know that at some point they said that they were taking her to the location that they told you about, but when did you realize you didn't know where your mother was?
Yeah. So obviously I was in touch with her attorney and a bunch of other people right away, trying to figure out what's going to happen next. And her attorney recommended to use this website called locator.ice.gov, where you can type in mom's information, like her A number, and then it gives you a location. And that did not give us any results. So basically, when she was in Batavia, I tried to call them. They have a few numbers. I tried to leave her urgent messages there. No one would pick up, so I would just keep leaving urgent messages. Later, I found out that she never received any of those. But I just wanted to let her know that she's gonna be fine. I know I'm with her as much as I just tried to calm her down, because I actually wasn't sure what's gonna happen. So I wasn't sure if she's gonna be fine, but at least she would hear my voice. And so I think for the first 24 hours, we could not see where she is at all. The system did not give any results. And I even had this thought that this is, they kill her or something. I don't know what's going to happen, because I did not know these people. They didn't look like police. I wasn't sure if this is even true what they said. They're going to check her documents. So they're just going to send her somewhere. So I was really scared. I could not understand anything. And I think next day, July. I don't know what's going to happen, because I did not know these people. They didn't look like police. I wasn't sure if this is even true what they said. They're going to check her documents. So they're just going to send her somewhere. So I was really scared. I could not understand anything. And I think next day, July 21st,
Sorry, thanks, Orange. Sorry, I'll go back again. I forgot to unmute myself. So, again, Daria said that her mother was using California ID. And as I was saying, that sometimes online commentary becomes legally sloppy around the distinguishing of IDs. A real ID compliant license, it means the identification meets federal standards for purposes such as boarding domestic flights or commercial flights. It is evidence of identity. It is not proof of citizenship, not permanent immigration status, and nor it provides you immunity from immigration enforcement. So real ID does not mean does not have the should not be okay, whatever. Cut that out. Just wanted to make that distinction. Let's move forward. Sorry. You can see I'm getting mad at this. It's maddening at this point. Whew. The stronger point is that Alevtina was traveling openly under her own identity. That's the main point. According to the family, she had a pending application, work authorization, a known address, and legal counsel. She was not discovered using a false name in a hidden location. The government apparently knew who she was and chose to detain her at the airport. Again, that's why I keep asking, what's the reason that this detention was required when she was openly living as a person who she is? And this also raises the questions around timing and discretion. But license alone does not decide the authority question. Simple as that. Then Daria describes using ICE's online detainee locator. And she said that roughly for the first 24 hours, she says no result appeared. She called Daria, left urgent messages, and later learned her mother never received them. And this is where my question comes in. A phone is there, but and there's someone who can pass on the messages, apparently to her mother, but were the messages passed on? On paper, it looks really good. Yeah, she called, she left a message, but her mother never got them. Again, a database may have an intake delay. That's possible. We should not automatically convert a delayed entry into proof of malicious concealment, but from a systems perspective, the database takes time is not a complete answer when a person's liberty has been taken and their lawyer and family cannot identify the custodian. And a custody system needs to be more than a public search result. Sorry. Sorry. Pardon. As I said, custody system does not need to become just an eventual public search. It needs an auditable chain of custody. The sending location should know the receiving location. The receiving location should confirm intake, or at least say pending intake. Something. Counsel should have a route to verify the client's location. Okay, they are here within this location, they're on this location, they are on their way to this location now, and expected arrival, yada, 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 on this date. It's important because, urgent medical information and contact details should be able to follow the person. If public disclosure is limited for security reasons, there still needs to be a reliable professional channel. The family's experience, as described, was that no such channel worked. This is why the language of disappearance feels real to them. The issue is not merely emotional discomfort. It's just not that. It's not that simple. When counsel cannot locate a client, deadlines can be missed, evidence cannot be gathered, health information cannot be communicated, and removal may proceed before a challenge can be prepared. The family's timeline also says that the first locator result appeared the next morning and placed Alevtina in Mahoning County Jail in Ohio. That is the first point at which they learned she had already crossed the state lines. So they didn't even know if she was crossing state lines or not. Just think about how much information the system had as compared to Alevtina's family. The government knew enough to arrest her, identify her, book transport, and place her in another facility. And the family was left searching a public website and leaving messages into systems that apparently did not reach her. This is an imbalance, and this creates an enormous risk of helplessness and error. And that's why transparency cannot be just optional act of kindness. Transparency, it's a control against arbitrary or mistaken action. You would think that at least within 3 hours of someone who has been taken into custody, the locator should be updated. Transport systems are much more faster than that nowadays. All right, so we have been live for an hour 15 minutes. Let's take a quick break for 2 minutes or something, and then I'll be back about that, and then we will continue. I know we have not even crossed 10 minutes, and it's 40 minutes, so it will become a long segment today, which is fine by me. Or we can do a part 2, or Chesh can do a part 2 if she wants to. But yeah, at least we've started this conversation here. So let's go for a break, and let's make it 3 minutes, and then I will be back. Yeah, thank you. Be right back. So again, Daria said that her mother was using California ID, and as I was saying that sometimes online commentary becomes legally sloppy around the distinguishing of All right, I'm back. All right, let's start with the next timestamp. And hopefully
She popped up.
this works. Hopefully everything's working. Okay, cool. Let's go.
Next day, July 21st, she popped up in Ohio place, so Mahoning County Jail, which is not Batavia. And I tried to find a way to contact her, and so I called the prison facility, and they told me that she just arrived and she will have an ability to contact me in a few hours. And I told them that I'm not sure she knows my number by heart, so please give her my number. Later I found out that no one gave her my number, and she could not reach me, but also it looked like I could not understand where she is, because later on July 21st, as far as I remember it, she again disappeared on this website, and so we did not understand where she actually is. So I called July 22nd, I called that place, and they told me that she is on air release, and they could not tell me where to. And her attorney could not understand where her client is. She was trying to reach different places. She was trying to reach Ohio. She was trying to reach Batavia. And I was trying to reach all of these places. I was trying to call general numbers for ICE. No one gives me any information. No one gives their names. No one can give any messages to her, or they say they will. And later I found out that no one did anything. So I think only until later on July 22nd, her location changed to South Louisiana ICE Processing Center, which is, again, not California, not Batavia, somewhere, I have no idea, how long how they transported her, how long she had to stay where, what was the conditions, I could not understand anything, and I was feeling really scared because I heard about that facility and how they treat people there. And my mom, she's quite old. She's 59, and she's quite delicate person. She has a master's degree, and she's a, she's very smart, and she's intelligent, and she's she's never been through this type of situation. She's I don't know, and so I was not sure if I can actually find her alive after all of this happening.
So we see that the locator was showing Mahoning County Jail in Ohio, which was not Batavia, like Daria was told. So she gives us the confirmation here, and then when she calls that county jail, the staff there tell her that Alevtina has just arrived and she will be able to telephone her in a few hours. Again, my question, the telephone's there, the facility's there, but can she access it? They're telling, she should be able to call you. But did someone tell her that she can call her daughter? Did someone tell her that she's allowed to do that? How would she know if her counsel can't advise her that? Because if I'm not wrong, law enforcement officers are not advisors. They're not law advisors. They're not law counsel. So who's going to brief her about the process? Did they brief her about the process during the intake? We have no clue. Because this is an immigration issue. Not a civil, not a criminal. And then Daria says that she has given them her number because she's not sure if her mother remembers her number from her memory. And then she says that nothing was passed on to her mother, so no call could occur. Again, this is all alleged. I will make it very clear. And if we had access, or if we could get access to message logs and intake records, we should be able to verify, but we don't know. I don't think so. We have any idea how we can access these records. I don't know if the council knows if there's a process to access these records or not. And And this is also a very good example of how a very small administrative failure can become a major human failure. Again, handoffs are point of failure. They're points of failure, all the handoff points. Megan Fox, Giant Boost from the live chat said, law enforcement isn't required to know what laws they're supposed to enforce, because that makes sense. Yes, that makes sense. But what my point is that if Alevtina doesn't have access to a counsel, who's going to advise her that she can call her daughter, or she even has that right to call her daughter, or there's a facility there that she can call her daughter through. And also, most people don't memorize phone numbers anymore. A detained person may lose access to their mobile phone or may not remember the phone number. Just now realize she has been handed over twice now. So Alevtina, she might be frightened, exhausted, visually impaired, hard of hearing, or unfamiliar with the facility's telephone system, as I said before. Writing down one verified contact number and ensuring the person receives it is a simple control. Then Daria says that Alevtina disappeared again from the locator. And she called on 22nd July. She was told her mother was on air release. I have no idea what that means. This is the first time I've heard of that. Or air movement. But staff didn't say where she was going. This is her daughter asking for information, and she doesn't know where her mother is being taken to or is going to. And the lawyer also, okay, forget the daughter. Her counsel, her lawyer also could not determine the destination. Later, the location appeared as the South Louisiana Ice Processing Center. Now she's in South Louisiana. Yeah, we'll lose access to their phone. Sorry, you're right, Shan. So the reported route seems to be Buffalo area custody, then Ohio, then Louisiana. 3 facilities under 3 days. And the family is saying that they were not notified of either interstate transfer. By the looks of it, the lawyer also wasn't notified about it. I'm not saying the transfer is automatically punitive or unlawful. Yes, detention systems move people for capacity, transport, logistics, classification, yada, 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 and many other operational reasons. But we don't know the reason here because there are no records available. It's astounding. But you know what repeated transfer does? It creates very predictable consequences, disrupts legal contact and legal process. Again and again, you might have to file new paperwork. Family communication becomes harder. As I said, the medical information may never reach the person who needs it. New counts, new telephone procedures, new legal procedures, new counsel procedures. Again, we saw that there's a delay between custodial records and database records. And if they have medical needs or any neurological, mobility, or vision needs, each new location must identify and accommodate them again and again and again. I don't even know if they have any provisions for that. We don't know. If you go on the page of Bring My Mom Home, and if you go to her help, yeah, see if I can magnify it more. Here we go. So the family campaign says that Alevtina, she has cerebellar ataxia, which is a progressive neurological disorder affecting balance and coordination. Diagnosed before her detention, her doctors had projected that she could lose the ability to walk and be in a wheelchair within a few years. That she was still walking at all, they consider was remarkable. In her calls from detention, she reports that she now feels too unsteady to cross a room without keeping her hand on the wall. She also has diagnosed high blood pressure and high cholesterol, hearing loss in her left ear requiring a hearing aid. There we go. She requires hearing aids and a need for glasses. And these have been publicized on the website. I don't know her independently what her records say, but I'm sure the records will be available if needed. Does her transfer plan address these conditions? Can she safely walk through transport areas? Does she need assistance? Does she have her hearing aid and glasses? Was she medically assessed before the flight? Any flight or any transfer or transport? How is she hydrated properly? Like, we have no idea of how she is being treated. There's a difference between moving a number and a human. Transporting a number and a human being, a person. And the distance between Sunnyvale to Basile, it also matters beyond just emotion. Her daughter, lawyer, doctors, college and community are in California. There is friction, practical friction at every step here. The further she's taken away from where her hometown is, where her home is. We don't even know that if each transfer was legally authorized or operationally justified. We have no clue. Fucking hell. Alright, moving on. God.
At one point, you were told that she'd been deported. Walk me through that.
South Louisiana it is, right? We started calling that place the next day. So that was on Thursday. So we started calling that place, no answer. I contacted her attorney and they said, we need to reach out to her somehow. Please do something. And she reached out to the prison facility herself. And at some point, she started calling me and sending me like screenshots of communication from that place saying that she was deported. That she's no longer in that place. And she was deported. And then the attorney was like, can you please check your records? Because she's still showing up as an ICE custody on the ICE website. And she's still showing up in the South Louisiana location. And the person answering there was like, I checked my records, she was deported, that's all I know, and the ICE locator website will be updated shortly. And so we were all waiting when this is going to be updated. And it wasn't updated for quite a long time. I wasn't sure what's happening. She doesn't have her passport and where they're taking her. And later, I found out that they brought her into the South Louisiana location. And then immediately after that, they put her on the bus to go to the airport. And then from the airport, they wanted to move her somewhere else. However, I don't know what happened, but later I found out that they were spending there half a day She did not have an access to the restroom. She did not have access to water. She was begging for water. She was asking them if she can just like make her lips a bit wet because they're very dry, and she's scared of having a stroke. She's old, right? So like this is the stress that she was going through. Like this is something that she's never experienced in her life. No one cared. And then later they brought her back to South Louisiana. And
so, as we can see, this is one of the most emotional and serious parts of the account. Because if I'm not wrong, this involves preserved written statement. I think so. Daria says the lawyer contacted South Louisiana facility and they received messages stating that Alevtina had been deported and was no longer there. The lawyer reportedly pointed out that the ICE locator is still showing that Alevtina is in custody at Bastille. All the way back. According to Daria, the official responded that the records have been checked, she had been deported, and the locator would be updated later. What? And then the family's documented timeline on this channel also says that, if we go back, yeah, so here it says, in a written email, a facility official told her attorney she was quote-unquote deported, while ICE's own locator showed her in custody at Bastille. The Office of Representative Aro Khanna CA-17 engages. Yeah, right, Megan? USPS is not this bad at losing things, and they're not responsible for people. You would think you would have more, you would be more careful and more accurate and more agile, and your response times will be more quicker when you're taking care of people. And what Daria is saying is, and Alevtina's family is saying, is that this particular email, which mentioned that she has been deported, is being preserved. It's preserved and is available if needed. And again, the locator is showing her in Bastille, and she was in fact returned there that day. So, a statement that a client has been deported can radically alter legal action. The lawyer may believe the person has left the country, therefore they can't do anything for them. The family might begin searching foreign airports or relatives. Emergency applications may be redirected or even dropped. Now, it's not just distress, the risk over here, it's procedural harm at this point. That person might be denied due process because they're no longer in the country, so the due process doesn't apply to them. Do you understand? Like, what the hell? Yeah, right, Victoria. You almost want the USPS people in the charge of the locating stuff. Far out, dude. The phrase "she was deported," quote unquote, is categorical. It is not the same as "she is currently in transit." No. It's not "she has departed this facility," or it's not "our local system cannot identify her location," or "contact ICE headquarters." A custody system should not produce a confident statement like that about someone's removal, unless the event has actually occurred and is recorded. It should happen after the fact, not before the fact. Even if they were like, okay, yeah, she's gonna get deported tomorrow or in 2 days, you shouldn't be updating the system 2 days earlier. It should get updated after she has been put on a flight and she's off. And even then, wait for 24 hours or the duration of her flight before updating the system. It's so foolish. They can't update her current location, but they're very confident what her future location might be. Out of the country. Absolutely ridiculous. What the fuck is going on in Trump's America? People, used to go to America because they were like, we'll be treated fairly there. At least as compared to other countries. But it's just becoming a fucking, sorry for my French, if I might say, but it's becoming a fucking hellhole now. Where due process is not due process anymore. So the questions are just straightforward. Who sent the message? Which database did that person check? Did the record confuse departure from the facility with departure from the country? Was a removal flight scheduled? Was there a last-minute cancellation? Was a person looking at another detainee's record by accident? Was corrective action occurred? What corrective action, occurred after the error was discovered? Was the lawyer notified about the correction? An agency's response should answer all of that. Whether they can. Daria then, she says that Alevtina was taken to an airport and then held there for roughly half a day before being returned to Basile. According to what Alevtina later told Daria, she had no restroom access and no water during that period. And Daria says that her mother begged merely to have her, lips, so she can just have some water to wet her lips because she was afraid of having a stroke. How inhumane is that? And have no restroom access? Do you know how humiliating is that? Especially for a woman? I'm screeching now at this point. I'm so angry. I'm screaming. My neighbors must be thinking, what the fuck is wrong with me? Yeah, this is a part reported by Alevtina through Daria. We can't say we personally observed it. Fine, but allegation is concrete enough to investigate. Transport logs should show duration. Escort records should identify the officers. Vehicle or aircraft records may show stops. Medical records may show dehydration. We don't even know if she was examined by any medical staff. Basic access to water and restroom. It's not a reward for good behavior. It is a baseline for humane custody conditions. Even when there are security restrictions. Biological needs must be met and should be planned for. If an individual is restrained for hours and cannot independently access water or sanitation, the responsibility lies entirely with the custodian of that individual. The family's account here either deserves corroboration or a specific rebuttal, not dismissal through vague statements about policy. Water is a human right, yes.
On Friday, when I was on a call with the Rocana's office, who is trying to help my mom right now, they confirmed that my mom is in Basile in Louisiana. Yeah. I believe she's right now in South Louisiana. I have a way to have some phone calls with her, but yeah, this is what I know, like, to the best of my knowledge, this is where she is right now. Conditions in which they're transferring, they don't give water for hours, they don't let her go to the restroom, or they keep her in a cage that is very, very tiny and it doesn't have air, and so she was having trouble breathing there. She asked to open like a tiny window there so she can breathe through that, and they said it's not allowed. And she was like that for hours. She thought that she's having this like a panic attacks because it's a very like small place, and she was wearing handcuffs, and they put chains on her. And so she said to me like it was really hard with the chains because she cannot really move at all, and they're very heavy, and they were hurting her stomach. And so to her, there was a lot of humiliation here. There was a lot of uncertainty if she will ever be able to like breathe normally. And she told me that she was like trying to cling one of her like arm into the other with her nails so she could like feel her fingers because she was scared. And so all of these conditions that she was describing to me, when they brought her back to Basel, they said to her that next day we will take you at 9 a.m. and again transport somewhere. And she was really scared. She started feeling sick because in the place in Basel, they turned on AC so low.
So now Daria, she has relayed Alevatina's description of transport conditions: hours without water or restroom access, confinement in a very small enclosure with poor air, and she's having difficulty to breathe, a request to open a small window, handcuffs. Do you know what happens to people who are at risk of stroke if they have handcuffs? Chains? And then she's having pains from those restraints. Why chains? She's already confined. I should avoid diagnosing what happened. Alevatina, according to Alevatina, she experienced breathing difficulty, intense fear, and panic-like symptoms. We do not know whether she had a panic attack, a cardiovascular event, dehydration, an infection, or a combination of stress responses. This is a medical question. So if we discuss the risks here, a person with reported balance disorder, hearing loss, vision impairment, and blood pressure concerns is being repeatedly moved, restrained, and placed in unfamiliar environments. She may not hear instructions clearly. She may not see forms or controls. She may have difficulty stabilizing herself while chained. Stress and dehydration can worsen symptoms further. If she reports breathing difficulty, the response shouldn't just be procedural. It should include an assessment, a medical assessment. Just because you are in just because you're in civil immigration detention, it's not a criminal sentence. I don't know why they're being treated why she's being treated like a criminal with chains and handcuffs. The person is being held to manage immigration proceedings or removal. She's not being punished after a criminal conviction. Okay, yeah, that doesn't mean that restraints can never be used. It does mean that the public is entitled to ask what risk assessment justified the level and duration of restraint and whether officers responded when the restraints allegedly caused her pain. What was the reason? Again, why was this detention necessary in the first place? Yeah, her restraints might also negatively impact her apraxia, right, Victoria? The appropriate question is not were chains allowed somewhere in a policy. The question is whether their use in this specific situation was necessary, proportionate, monitored, and adjusted when harm was reported. The same applies to the enclosure. Transport vehicles and holding areas may be restricted by design. That's fine, but ventilation, temperature, duration and medical needs, they all still matter. A procedure can be standard and still be unsafe for a particular person. Good systems do not hide behind the word standard. They verify whether the control is suitable for the individual risk or not. Daria over here mentions that her mother dug her nails into one arm to feel her fingers because she was frightened. That detail captures like how terrorized she was of the whole experience. It's not a proof of every objective condition, but it tells us her state of mind and what she is going through in her mind. It's evidence of impact, and we can't just dismiss impact merely because it is emotional. Emotional impact matters because it's now converting to physical impact, by the way, if she's digging her fingers in her arms because she's frightened. Yeah, Orange, chains or cuffs on someone that age already in lockup. Why? And Victoria from the live chat, there's no might to it. I'm a PT. She could break bones, damage muscle, tendons, and ligaments and nerves. That is physical therapy knowledge. Exactly. PD meaning physical therapist. I also want to resist a common online response that, people who have no fucking idea what they're talking about say, oh, she should have complied and she would have been fine. The account does not describe any resistance here, that she was resisting to the process. And more importantly, again, like water, sanitation, restraint, ventilation, and medical risk, these are not rewards for compliance. These are basic human rights. Like you can't say you're going to judge a system by whether the staff in it intended cruelty or not. It should be judged whether foreseeable harm was controlled or not. And as we are observing through the account, the neglect can be systematic, fragmented, and bureaucratic. And that's how people fall through the gaps in systems.
That she got a sore throat, she got a fever, and later I found out that she was probably gonna die because there is no medication there. She's 59. They don't give her medication, and it's very, very cold there. She does not have clothing. And she cannot get clothing because for that you need to order it. And for that she needs to have her glasses because she cannot see anything on this tablet they give her to order. And she was begging everyone to give her glasses because she cannot order the stuff that she needs right now. And
so her glasses have been taken away by the looks of it, and she doesn't even have access to her glasses. That's the basic shit, man. What is going on?
No one cared. When she got some stuff from some of the other people there, the officer just took it from her, and so she could not have any clothes that's warm, and she could not have any medication. But
so they took away stuff from her. So even if someone else gives it to her, she can't have it, and they won't give her glasses to order things. Oh my God, She was really scared that if transportation happens again, that she will just die there because there is no hydration. She has a fever and she has a sore throat, and because she's never been through this type of conditions before. So as far as I know, they did not transfer her, but she's afraid that's going to happen anytime. They might transfer anytime during the day, anytime during the night. That's kind of the current situation, yes.
So I want to clarify something. You had both your mother's lawyer and yourself were unable to locate her during this entire time, and it took the intervention of Congressman Ro Khanna for you to be able to find her. Is that correct? So until
Yes.
a congressman got involved, no one would tell you.
Yes.
That's pretty disturbing on its own. Maybe we
So now we're moving from the transport risk to conditions at the facility. Daria says that Alevtina became ill in the cold, developed a sore throat and fever, lacked warm clothing, could not order items because she did not have her glasses, like I mentioned. The family, they have since published a more detailed medical summary. According to that summary, you can again go to the website and you can have a look here. I'll put it in the live chat again. It's available in the description also of the live stream. So the family has since published a more detailed medical summary. According to that summary, Alevtina has, as I said, cerebral ataxia affecting balance and coordination, hearing loss, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, yada yada yada. Sorry, I shouldn't say that, I should list it. High cholesterol and a need for glasses and a prescribed hearing aid. So now she needs a hearing aid also, now we find out. And the campaign also says that there is untreated fever, sore throat, headaches during the calls after 24th July. Again, that is the family's public account, and they say the medical records exist. So if I go here, if I go down here, yeah, so untreated illness, hearing loss left here, a fever, severe sore throat, headaches reported in every call since July 24th. She reports she has been given, she has been given no medication, and that warm clothing and medication shared with her by other detainees were confiscated by the staff. What is this? So now others can't also share it with her. Hi, Evil. Yeah, I really hope she gets out soon. I really hope. So this is not just comfort issue. Again, this is accessibility issue. The facility requires, again, as I said, well, the tablet's available. She can order clothes through tablet or what she needs through tablet. But what's the point if she doesn't have access to her glasses, because she needs the glasses to see whatever is on the tablet? Looks really good on tape, on paper when it says in the standard, oh yeah, the inmates or the detainees, they can order whatever they need via a tablet system that we have established, blah 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 blah. The woman can't see. She doesn't have her glasses. Does the standard mention that the hearing aids and glasses should be provided to them at all times? And if they can, while they are in a limbo, waiting for stuff to be delivered to them that they have ordered, that they can share with other detainees, or they will get some basic stuff to keep them warm? Don't know where the standard is. Yeah, this is severe medical neglect at this point. That's what it looks like. Nominal access is not meaningful access. Even if they used audio prompts, that's also not good, because she doesn't have her hearing aids. So the control might work for an average user, but may completely fail when a user has, sensory and neurological needs. And in quality systems, that is not treated as the user's fault. It's treated as the system's fault. ICE's own published detention standards include medical care, legal communication, and access to impairment aids such as glasses, hearing aids, or mobility devices. And I'm just wondering which specific standard governs this particular facility. And how can we verify that? And also, a written standard does not prove compliance. That is evident from Daria's and Alevtina's account. Yeah, neglect might be a polite word for it. So the practical questions are, was her vision assessed at intake? Even if it was assessed, she's asking for her glasses. Give her glasses, man. Has the absence of glasses been documented? Has replacement been requested? Until the replacement comes, has she been given something in the interim to keep her warm? Some medication in the interim? To at least manage the symptoms that she's going through? Nothing. By the sounds of it. Yeah, torture is a better word. Dapper then asks specifically whether it took the office of Representative Ro Khanna to locate her, and Daria says yes. The family's timeline says that the congressional office opened casework after receiving a signed privacy release and engaged ICE liaisons. Congressional casework can help obtain information, but the underlying correspondence matters. We know that the office is involved, but we are not personally involved, which is what it is. The broader point is still uncomfortable. A basic custody system should not require a member of Congress to help a lawyer and a daughter to establish where a detained person is. Political influence should not be the backup control for ordinary traceability. Shan from the live chat, let's be real to all those people saying this is somehow Valentina's fault. If Trump actually ended the war in Ukraine and Russia, like he claimed he was able to do, she wouldn't be here. Yeah, but we know Russia's regime is what it's like, and people can still come through and look for, asylum. Asylum is asylum. Due process is due process. Wars or not. Consequences of wars can go through generations. All right, going on to the next. All right.
You should step back. Tell me about you and your mother. What was your life together like before July 20th?
Yeah.
Like, when did your mother get to the United States? And
I like that Dapper is trying to de-escalate the mood, not the and her emotions down, because you can see she's red in the face now and she's crying, she's upset, and she's working up. She's having even difficulty breathing at this point. So I think so. It's a good way to. It's a good transition.
Give me a little bit about the happier times in the past few years.
Yeah. So my mom, she's very close to me. To me, this is very, very, very hard. I don't think I've ever gone through any of this stuff like before. It's just the hardest thing. Hearing her cry on the phone, it's I cannot do anything. But I also keep to tell her that it's going to be fine, but I'm not sure if it's going to be fine because I'm out of control. My mom and I are very close. She's been always like on my side for anything that I've been doing. We lived in Sunnyvale for the last few years, since 2023. And before that, we were living in San Jose. So when she came to the US with
Sorry, I'm muted. I just actually had a flashback to my mom, and it just gave me, I just got a chill down my spine just thinking if something like this happened to my mother. Just terrible chill down my spine. My spine. I can't even format words right now, just thinking about it. Daria is being very brave.
The visitor visa on in October 2021. She lawfully entered the US. She had no plans to stay here. She just visited me because I moved here for work. And we spent some time going to Los Angeles. We spent some time here where I'm working. She just wanted to help me set up my life here, like help find an apartment, help find some like basic stuff, because I was also working. It was COVID time, so it was a bit hard. But she was really supportive. She was cooking for me while I was like trying to figure out everything else. And she had a ticket to come back home. However, like a week before her date, the war between Russia and Ukraine started. And so I had a discussion with all my family here. She has her sister here in the US. She has like her sister's husband, her cousins here. We all had the discussion if it's safe for mom to go back to Russia, and we decided that it might not be in the current situation. And so she and I worked to find an attorney, and with the discussion with the attorney, we decided to apply for a political asylum for my mom to be able to stay in the US with me, because at that time it was safer than going back to Russia.
So we can Frank Castle. I don't get the reference, Athens, sorry. So we can see here that it wasn't just on a whim that her mother applied for a political asylum visa. It was because of the war that was happening in Russia and Ukraine. And they realized that it will not, her mother is, by the sounds of it, she lives alone. So to live in a war-torn country alone is not safe. Oh, the Punisher, okay. So she had a valid reason. Like, come on. It involves Russia now, so I've got more questions, but I don't want to go into conspiracy, so I'll just stay on this side. But yeah. So this section is quite an essential. By the way, Dapper's looking dapper, I must say. He's got the suit on and his tie on. He's looking very dapper. You know, dapper dinosaur. So this section is quieter, but it's essential. Daria describes the ordinary life that she shared with her mother. It's just a mother-daughter duo. Just like any other American mother-daughter duo or any other mother-daughter duo in any other country. They were living together in Sunnyvale, going for walks after work, cooking on weekends. You know, I miss my mom's food too, a lot. Oh, that's yeah. I miss my mom's cooking. Okay. So Alevtina, as Daria described, she originally entered the United States in October 2021 on a visitor visa, and then she said that she intended to return. She had a return ticket, and that's what is usually required when you come on a visitor visa, that you should have a return ticket to assure the immigration that you want to return back to your country of origin. So Daria is saying that due to the Russian invasion of Ukraine, it began before the planned return date. So it's not, Daria's mom didn't cause the war, right? Putin caused the war, invasion of Ukraine. So it wasn't planned that she would stay back. She was ready to go back. So like, there shouldn't be any speculation about the substance of the asylum claim at this point, in my opinion. And if they're not giving us anything more that why a war would affect her mother's return, we'll keep it at that. I think so. They might have kept it private for a reason. It might involve sensitive facts, political activity, and risks to other people. So public curiosity cannot outweigh, legal and personal safety. But what this section does establish is the human cost of abrupt uncertainty. Now Daria is back in her apartment where her mother's room is empty, and she imagines her mother coming through the doors and her sounds. Damn, man, just thinking about it's very, very impactful. The emotional impact is not proof that every government action is unlawful. No, it's not. It is evidence, though, that foreseeable harm is caused when a person is taken without clear communication, and then it becomes difficult to locate them. A system can be legally authorized to do whatever it does, and it can still be traumatic. Good administration should minimize avoidable harm when exercising coercive power. Shouldn't it? A person just doesn't need a master's degree to deserve water. A person doesn't need a technology-employed daughter to deserve accurate custody records. A person does not need a former vice mayor to vouch for them, or a congressperson to vouch for them before they are entitled to medical assessment or counsel access. We can humanize Alevtina without creating a hierarchy in which less privileged detainees matter less. Daria's description of her mother as delicate and old reflects her fear. Alevtina is 59, which is not ancient. The more precise concern is the combination of her reported neurological, hearing, vision, and cardiovascular needs, acute illness, and the stress of transport, plus her age. She's not infantilizing her. She's looking at the total net effect of all the factors in her mother's life. And this section can also, justify why release to Daria could be proposed as a practical alternative rather than detention in a facility like where she is at the moment. Alevtina has a fixed home with her daughter, full financial support, legal counsel, and a strong community. I hope those facts will be relevant to whether she should be further kept in custody or not. I really hope that. All right, moving on. If you hear me like beating down on my keyboard, that's me going through my notes. God, this is so... Yeah, I get it why Dapper felt exhausted with this. Yeah, Victoria, her multiple illnesses mean she's about as much at risk as an 80, 90-year-old would be. Yeah. Especially when medical assessment and medical, support is not being provided in a timely manner. She can't even open a fucking window to get fresh air. What is that? All right.
we had this daily routine, like we would go for walks after work and just talk about my day together. He would cook together on the weekends, and we would have breakfast together. We would watch movies after my work as well. So like right now I'm out of all of this routine, and I don't want to go back to this routine until my mom is back, because I cannot do that right now. And so we live in the same apartment, And my first night here, after I came back from the airport, I could not really sleep because I was thinking that I'm hearing her in her room, or that she's trying to go and like enter the apartment. And I was hearing all of that, and I was really scared, and I had like anxiety, really hard anxiety, because I also was not sure where she is. I support her. She's in my support, like for anything she needs. And she also has friends here and in the community. So she goes to Mission College, and she has her friends and teachers there. She was for that. I talked to her teacher recently, and her teacher is just heartbroken and very, very angry at what's happening. And her teacher was telling me like how community is. So she's in my support, like for anything she needs. And she also has friends here and in the community. So she goes to Mission College, and she has.
So her mother is 59 years old. She works and she goes to Mission College.
Her friends and teachers there. She was for that. I talked to her teacher recently, and her teacher is just heartbroken and very, very angry at what's happening. And her teacher was telling me like how great of a student she is. Well, I knew it from my mom.
So you can hear like it's just the detention is not only affecting Alevtina, it's affecting her daughter. She can't sleep. She's hearing her voice, her mother's voices. She doesn't want to get into a routine because she needs her mother for that. Her mother established that routine for that. It's come on.
As well, but also hearing from her teacher was very like she wrote a whole cover letter about my mom, describing how she was helping everyone else in the class, how she was very like a student. Like my mom, she is an A student. Like she whenever she's trying to learn something, she goes all the way. Whenever she tries to help someone, she goes all the way. She's a real team player, and so her teacher is just she doesn't know what to do, but like she loves my mom. That's how she wanted me to convey the message. And so she recently started going to badminton classes. So she has a team there, and when she was talking to me, she was saying that she's very upset that her team does not have her there when they're playing. And, she also goes to volleyball classes there. And so they know each other. They see each other like twice a week. And so they haven't seen her for a long time now. She also has other people in our apartment complex who know her, because she used to walk my dog like a lot in the morning and in the night before he died, and so she knows all of the neighbors. And then neighbors are all shocked right now. They could not understand that in this country something like this could have happened. I also don't understand it either. So yeah, but she has friends, she has a community here, she has other students, and she has her teacher, she has me, and I also have like Landon and Danny who knows about my mom, and Landon knows my mom. So we're trying to see what we can do. And I also work at the company called Cerebrus, and Cerebrus leadership also knows my mom, and they're all trying to support me right now, which I'm very, very grateful for.
That's good to hear that you're getting support. That's really important. So your mom applied for political asylum, and that was why she retained the lawyer, was to work through all that. And so she was going through the actual legal process, right? She didn't just decide one day to just randomly overstay a visa. She was going through the legal process.
No. I'm the person who went through the non-immigrant visa and the immigrant visa. Now I'm a green card holder. And I'm the person who is responsible. I usually look at all the documents precisely. I understand everything you need to do. And so to me, this is a shocking situation, because we did everything in order. Like, she has work authorization, she has your EID card, she has a driver license, she has a real ID on it. she has a pending asylum case. We paid all the fees that we need to pay annually on order. Like, I was checking the websites. I was her assistant on that run. I was in touch with her lawyer on anything. Like, before I would ask her, is it okay that we go to
So we can see that Alevtina, she's not just a number. She's a person who affects her whole community so positively. She works, she goes to college, she is an A+ student at her age with her, neurological needs and her health risks. So much so that her teachers are writing letters of recommendation for her or approval for her. Her company, Daria's company, is supporting her because they know her. And also, I really hope that Dapper's question clarified that she just doesn't decide to overstay her visa. That's not what happened at all. That the narrative that some really dishonest people throw out there, that asylum seekers are usually people who have overstayed their visas. No. Yeah, you're right, Megan. Alevtina is a model immigrant, even by MAGA standards. And we can see that Daria is describing that Alevtina entered the country lawfully. And later, she followed the law and filed an affirmative asylum application. And was awaiting for an asylum interview. Like, what the fuck? So, people who even follow what's the process for if you're going to punish people like this for following the process in timely manner?
We went to travel to Hawaii. I was asking her that, but I was thinking that I should not have traveled with her at all, and I should not have seen Niagara Falls. That was her dream. She wanted to see that, and she haven't had a chance to travel because I was very busy and the dog was dying, and we just decided to do one small trip. She haven't traveled for a couple of years at all, in the US. And so I felt why did I take her on this trip? Or why did I let them take her from me?
This is what I was talking about.
Whatever they were doing.
This is what I was talking about at the start, that she says that why did I let her take them from me? Why did I plan that trip? You were doing that for your mother. Whether they took her is not in your hands, Daria. So please don't feel guilty about it. Please. That's what I would say.
To her afterwards, that's just... I cannot imagine how I would go through this, and I'm quite young, and then she was going through that, and she's a very, very delicate person, and she's old. So I have a lot of what if situations. I know it's not productive, but I'm very anxious and emotional, and I don't I need to look forward, but also it's hard. Also to mention she what I understood from her lawyer is that we are asylum interview, which usually goes through the USCIS process. So I went through USCIS process before. You have visa stuff, you go through that website, and she had the biometrics done, she paid all the fees and all, and we were just waiting for the date, and we were checking the website. She did not appear at any court hearings. There were no court hearings. She was just supposed to have an interview. And that, she is in the detention facility.
Right.
So yeah, Daria is right. Usually affirmative asylum is initially handled through USCIS. Removal proceedings are handled through immigration court system under EOIR. The public material does not give us the complete notice to appear, and any theory around charges or referral history, so we don't know why the case moved from USCIS to EOIR. We don't know why the case moved from one track to another. Hopefully maybe we might be able to see an interview from her counsel maybe in the future, and they would be able to clarify some of the, doubts that we might have. So yeah, how about we take another break? Due process is for everyone or nobody. Yeah, Orange. Yeah. All right. Let's take another break, and then we'll be back, and we will try to finish this off. I think so. Only 13 minutes are left. Yeah. So we should be able to finish it off pretty quickly. I think so. We have covered the majority of the points, and hopefully I don't start repeating myself now. So yeah. All right. Again, let's do it 5 minutes now. Let's do it for 5 minutes, and then I'll be back. All right. Be back. 5 minutes. we'll go through that also. So all the coverage.
We're talking, and this is when they said, okay, you can go with us. This is not true.
All right, I'm back. Never mind. Yeah, it transitions. So, yeah. Sorry if it's a little too... Is it too much? Is the music too much? I can reduce the volume if needed. Let me know.
So my understanding is that you've since been able to speak to your mother. What can you tell us about what she said to you?
I did not give her my number, and so she did not have an access to her phone. But some other person in that facility gave her a message that this is a number to call her daughter, and I guess they first gave the number to call her attorney. And so she was trying to dial that in, and it didn't really work for a long time because she does not have her glasses and the phones are very tiny. And so she was doing that for like a very long time. And someone helped her there, like some other, I guess, inmate. And then a lawyer called me and said that she will try to call me because they gave her my number. And later I found out that she did not have a pen, she did not have a paper, and someone wrote it on her hand, the numbers that she needs to call. Like, this to me, like, this is like... Anyway, so she...
So there's not even basic pen and paper to write down numbers or anything, any details, nothing. And even if she had, she wouldn't have been able to because she doesn't have her glasses, for fuck's sake.
Reached out to me and she started crying, like right away. Like, she was crying, she was asking me how that happened, like, what did you do wrong? And I was trying to tell her that you did nothing wrong. And then she was like, but then this is not something, like, you cannot treat someone like this unless they are really, really seriously, like, fault in something. And I was like, Mom, like, you're not at fault, I don't know what's happening. And so she could not stop crying. And then she started, like, I asked her to give me some information because apparently she was calling from someone else's tablet because she did not have money on her account. But for her to have money on her account, I needed to know her ID and stuff that they gave her. And she needed to give it to me, but she could not see anything, right? So then she had to find someone who could help her read it to me. And I could go in details, like after I got the information, the website was not working and I could not pay, and it told me on the website that her account is locked. And then Danny tried to reach out to that place on my behalf,
Danny is one of the other volunteers who are helping the family at the moment. So they have been quite pivotal in getting things moving. So, yeah.
To figure out how we can unlock the account. And they said that she needs to unlock the account. And we could not figure out how to do that. And we described to them that she doesn't have her glasses. She's not sure how to use the tablet. She's in shock. She's shaking. She has an anxiety. Like, could you please help? And they just refused to help. And when they said, are you actually refusing to help right now? And they just hang up on us. But a few minutes afterwards, I was checking the website. I was able to see that the account is unlocked and I was able to send the money. However, I found out that she would only be able to receive these funds 24 hours after I sent it. So I could not imagine what she was going through, because she thought that I'm sending her money and then she can call me, but then she cannot really call me for 24 hours to anyone. And I tried to reach out to a bunch of places. I tried to reach out to this person who said that she was deported, to see if she can now find her, because she's calling from that place. No one answered to me. I wrote emails, no one answered to me. And
So what this section is showing us is that how apparently an ordinary system, communication system, can become inaccessible through a chain of small barriers. Again, looks good on paper, but in practicality, how is it even workable? Is it functioning? Sounds like it's dysfunctioning. Alevtina did not have a phone, she did not know the numbers from memory, she did not have her glasses, the telephone or tablet interface was small. I don't know why it would be small, maybe because they want people who don't understand English to be discouraged, to look for help, or I don't know, I should not speculate that. But why? I don't get it. She needed someone else's help. Alevtina needed someone else's help to help her read an identification number. Now, that gives someone else's access to her information in a way. You can hope that that person is honest and does not misuse it, but you never know. And she was lucky that another person in the, amongst her and other people in there that were besides her, they helped her, write contact numbers on her hand because she didn't even have pen or paper. Daria then tried to fund an account and then encountered that the portal was locked. And then was told that Alevtina needed to unlock it herself. But if Alevtina doesn't have access to her glasses, she can't see properly, the tablet interface is small, how is she supposed to unlock it? And reportedly, according to Daria, the staff refused to help her and then ended the call, hung up on her. The account later becomes available, and then funds are not usable immediately. This is all a chain of isolating, each layer is an isolation layer. And isolation, together, all these isolating layers can eliminate contact. And this is a classic system failure over here. The process is assuming a standard user, someone who can see the screen, hear the prompts, remember a phone number, understand the language, navigate the interface, possess an account ID, and obtain money from outside. A person who fails one assumption can get blocked. And now over here we can see Alevtina failed several assumptions and is effectively excluded because of that. It's not the question whether a tablet was available. The right question is, could a person use it? Athens from the live chat said, I'm very nearsighted since I've been wearing glasses for a long time. I can't read shit basically an arm length away from me. Exactly. There should be, if you want to have meaningful accessibility, you should have alternatives. Staff-assisted dialing, a paper contact form maybe, a large print interface. Many workplaces have that. Many facilities have that. A clear written explanation in a language the person understands. There are several, if you go to several government offices, they have the same notices in different languages, depending on, what diaspora of people visits that office. A procedure for a family to leave a verified number. Megan from the live chat said, they are assuming if you can make it here in the first place, you are probably able-bodied. Yeah. Daria's experience with the payment portal is first-hand in the sense that she personally tried to use it and then called for assistance. Alevtina's experience inside the facility is reported through Daria, right? There's a distinction there. But both of them could not access the system. And there's also this commercial dimension to communication and detention. Why can't she just place a call? Why does she have to pay for it? The family contact depends on money being credited, third-party systems working, and a detained person navigating pins and prompts. Legal contact should not be treated as ordinary paid communication. ICE's public facility information indicates that legal representatives can request confidential calls or video visits at the South Louisiana facility. The campaign's claim that Alevtina First Counsel call was on an ordinary recorded line therefore raises a concrete compliance question. Was the legal call process requested, or if so, was it not provided? Again, policy on a website is not a proof of access in practice. Looks good on paper, but is it good? Is it practical? But the existence of process means the agency can explain what occurred, and they can be questioned whether they followed that process or not. And this is where her hearing loss is also quite relevant. A person cannot hear in one ear and lacks a hearing aid, and they may struggle with a noisy dormitory, speakerphone, recorded prompts, or a poor quality connection. And then you add missing glasses to that and a second language, and the system is designed for independent use. It becomes impossible. It's quite moving that other people who were detained there helped her. But peer assistance is not an adequate substitute for institutional accommodation. Other detainees should not have to become informal interpreters, accessibility aides, and case managers because the facility has not met the need, especially when they have their own stuff to worry about, their own cases to worry about, their own situations to worry about, and their own family to worry about. And we heard that the items provided by other detainees were confiscated. I get it. If it's medication, yeah, I get it. The safety is involved there. But then are you assessing her illness, or are you giving her something in the interim till she gets, or, to manage her symptoms? I keep asking that question. Like, at what point access is available becomes misleading because the system is not actually usable by the person?
I think at some point she tried to call for someone else's number, and I think it was a few hours, but she was asking someone to help call as well, even though she had funds, because there are certain buttons you need to click, like to transfer the funds.
Yeah, and their own limited money to worry about. That's true. And it might also become a situation for exploitation. They might ask for money from her to help her. God dang.
She cannot see anything. She cannot understand. Like, she cannot even accept the call because it's like there's so many steps in the PIN codes and whatever. Like, she does not see anything. Yeah. After we figured it out, she was able to call with someone else help, and I think only today she was able to just remember like the positions of stuff. She does not see the numbers still. Right. She doesn't have her glasses, but like at least like she remembers, like, this is like, here you have 1, here you have like 9. And so to me, this is like, she's, like, she was very scared. She was very anxious. She was crying, and she was feeling like she's like humiliating to everyone there because she cannot find out how to contact her daughter. She does not remember her daughter's phone number by heart. She does not remember her attorney's phone number by heart. And honestly, the way, how much pressure she was under, when we were speaking, she was telling me that she thought that her attorney just ran away. And then she was telling to these people in the facility and people who were transporting her that she's very scared of her daughter being so stressed out and could not sleep because she doesn't know where I am. And so I don't understand, like, if these are actual, like, human beings, because people have, like, everyone has a mother, right? And so how cannot you just, like, imagine what the child could go through and what the mother can go through, who is an elder mother, right? Like, how how this is very scary. Like, and the person who's never been in any, like, she never had any problems. She never had any, like, tickets or violations or ever anything. She's a very safe driver. She's a very responsible person. And I just understand, like, why you would put someone through this. Like, what? could be in your mind, for that matter?
I don't think there are any good reasons. One thing I'd like clarified is, how long was it between your mother speaking to her lawyer on that speakerphone with the police and the next time that your mother was able to speak to her lawyer?
So her lawyer hasn't had a chance to speak to her yet.
She hasn't been able to speak to her lawyer yet.
Yet. It still hasn't happened.
Wow.
So Alevtina eventually has memorized the physical positions of numbers and screens, but it's we can still see that she feels humiliated because she feels that all the eyes are on her inside the detention center because she can't remember her daughter's number. She's trying to ask for help from other people and all that. And then what can happen is when sometimes when the system doesn't work or accommodate people start thinking that they're stupid and that maybe that they're difficult or that they are embarrassing everyone. And I don't know what the staff's conduct was with Alevtina at that point inside the facility. There should be a calm staff member who would be like, who could like say, okay, I will help you, I can assist you with that, and preserve their dignity. And then this is where I really feel for Daria when she says everyone has a mother. It is a compelling appeal to empathy over here. And the broader principle would be that even someone with no family, or like no family advocate is entitled to humane treatment, for fuck's sake. A rights system should work best for the isolated person, not only for the person whose daughter can reach a congressman and the media. And then Dapper did ask Alevtina and how long it had been when she had since, spoken to the lawyer. And at the time of recording, Daria says that there has been no post-detention attorney conversation. Nothing at all. And we need an update now. What's going on? So according to the family campaign, if you have a look here, where is it? 30th, first call with her attorney. That's on 30th. Here we go. 10 days after the airport, her first phone call conversation with her legal counsel since her detention, placed in facility standard recorded tablet line, not a confidential legal call. Confidentiality shouldn't be a luxury, it's a right. In America, if I'm not wrong. And EOIR's public guidance recognizes that, right to representation should not be expense to government. ICE's published detention materials contemplate confidential legal calls and virtual attorney visitation. So the question is no longer whether confidential access exists as an abstract policy. The question is why the family is saying it didn't happen. Why was confidentiality denied to them? Was there something wrong was there a request submitted to the correct contact? Was it delayed by transfer? Did the facility lack capacity? Blah, blah, blah. What was the reason that confidentiality was denied? Yeah, prisoners in the United States are treated horribly, but not this horrible. Exactly. All right, moving on.
That's worse than I thought
And I
it
cannot
was.
tell her anything. Yeah, and I cannot tell her anything about the strategy or like what's gonna happen because I should not. because they record. And she's listening to stories of people there, and she's getting very stressed out. People are staying there with a paid bond for 7 months, and they don't know how to get out of this place. So my mom said that everyone is burned out. It's a lot of people in one place. There are legal ways to get them out, and they are not working. People are not getting out of that place, even if the judge decides that they should and issue a bond, and the bond is proved and paid out. They're not getting out because, as far as I understand it, ICE just continue appealing until they're so tired, these people, that they just sign some form. And then she's old and she's weak and she's tired, she's shaking, and so it was really hard for her to go and sleep there. And so for that, to change the bed, apparently you need to see a nurse, and so she was doing that work. She's kind of listening to other nightmares, and she told me that I should not spend any money, I should not try getting help, because this is just not gonna help. Like, nothing is helping there. That's what she told me.
Well,
so we'll approach this with a little caution, because this is Alevtina's this is beyond Alevtina's own case, and this is about the stories that Alevtina has heard from other detained people. And then we are hearing that from Alevtina about other people, that ICE continues appealing until people become exhausted and sign forms. And so this is the second and third hand claims, right? And Alevtina has heard stories from others about it. And then we are hearing what Alevtina has told Daria. And these stories can reflect real cases. I'm not saying they can't. And they may also omit important legal differences. But I don't know what the legal difference would be if someone is on bond and they can't get out. So, yeah, that's what I think. But what it does do is it establishes an atmosphere of fear and helplessness inside the facility. Alevtina reportedly listened to other people's worst experiences, and then she concluded that nothing will work or help her. And that hopelessness can affect decision making. Any person who thinks that who believes that a process is futile may abandon a valid claim, sign a document they do not fully understand, or tell family not to spend money on counsel. And that's what Daria is saying. Her mother is saying, please don't spend money on me anymore. This is so heartbreaking. 10 days, I think. 10 days. Orange.
Speaking of help, is there a way that people can help? What do you need right now? What kind of help are you looking for from people who feel like this is something they want to help with?
I would love people help me bring her home safely. I would really appreciate any advice.
Before we go any further, I would point out that EOIR. So people might be wondering what's EOIR. EOIR. That's Executive Office for Immigration Review. That's what it is. EOIR. Yeah. So EOIR's current public policy manual states that in general and subject to exceptions, an immigration judge may have jurisdiction to conduct a bond hearing while a person is in DHS custody. I know this term has also come up a lot. So DHS is if I'm not wrong, let me have a look. I want to make sure that Department of Homeland Security. As simple as that. Sorry, totally went out of my brain. The paid bond is, here's the money, what the law says, you let them go until their trial. If they don't care about the law, they just pocket the money. Or they keep, appealing it. And say, oh yeah, because it's an appeal, you can't go out. Probably not orange. Probably not. So EOIR's current public policy manual also states that in general and subject to exceptions, an immigration judge may have jurisdiction to conduct a bond hearing while a person is in Department of Homeland Security's custody, even if a charging document has not been filed. It says a bond request can ordinarily be made in writing and in many circumstances orally. It also lists categories in which the immigration judge lacks bond jurisdiction. That creates an apparent tension with the family statement that the docket gap made the bond motion impossible to file. Okay, we'll go through this when we reach that part. This is why we call the ICE Gestapo, Athens from the live chat. This is why we call them the Trump administration Nazis. This is history repeating itself, and anyone denying this is living a delusion of the highest degree. Yeah. Then that's the thing, right? Then let go of the asylum program altogether. Just say we are not accepting asylum. Asylum seekers. So at least they can stay where they are and not come and go through this horrendous process and get tortured and traumatized. But obviously you have to look good in front of the world, right? We accept refugees. People can come here and seek refuge. So that program is there. But now we are going to systematically traumatize and, push people around till they give up and just go back.
Any help? And reaching out to congressmen, like I reached out to Rokana's office. If there is another place that people can reach out to get some help, given the way that she described to me when she got some stuff to warm her up and some tablets from other inmates, it was taken away. And for me, I'm not sure I'm sure she's not safe there, but she's sick right now. She told me yesterday she could not swallow, and there is no medication. She it's very, very cold. She told me that she was shaking so hard, the bed was shaking, and really serious yesterday, and it helpless, because what if she is not going to survive this? Because she has a fever, and then she's laying down there, she doesn't have proper clothes, and she said that there is no pillow, there is no blanket that is warm. It's a very, very tiny something, and AC is really hard. They're not changing that. Everyone wears layers. She doesn't have that clothes. She's feeling very sick. So, and she could not really sleep, and all of that together, plus her age, I was not sure if she's gonna survive. And so I was trying to see if there is a way for someone to contact the facility and bring her medication, bring her warm clothing, do something to help her. I asked them to do anything. So if people who are watching this can help with some basic stuff that she needs right now in this place, so she can actually be alive, I would also appreciate that.
Who are you hoping to reach with this? Who would you like to get contacted by to help?
People who have mothers. I should not go to see my mother in Louisiana because I'm a lawful permanent resident and I have a valid green card, and I might be taken down in that facility as well. And so if that happens, I won't be able to help my mother at all. This message is to any immigrant in this country who has a mother and can just listen to this story and see if there is a way to help get my mom back home.
My main issue is that the medical neglect that her mother is facing and denial of basic biological facilities, access to toilets, access to medicine, access to something to keep her warm, and if someone shares it with her, they just take it away. That's what my main, and I am with Daria. That is the first main priority, is to get her medical help and medically assessed. Get her glasses back, get her hearing aids back, and make sure that her detention has not worsened her her existing medical conditions. I think that's if you are planning to contact Ro Khanna's office or any other your local congressman or anyone through proper documentation. One, do it via proper documentation, via proper channels, and two, request medical treatment for her, for Alevtina. I think so that's the main priority for her right now. And then of course her hearing and everything, that also matters. Those should go side by side. And also to go to Congress and contact Congress to improve the conditions of these detention centers and make them better for every type of individual that is out there, not just particular type of individuals.
Right now I'm trying to deal with some immediate things like helping her survive and helping get her out. And so she has relatives here, she has her family here, and so right now I had a bunch of offers across the entire world, in Europe, in Russia, in Canada, in the US, and so I picked the US, and then I got this green card under the national interest waiver, so the US needs people like me to work in this place, and right now I just feel like...
Also notice that Daria also said that she's afraid to visit Louisiana, even though she is a lawful permanent resident with a valid green card, because she fears that she can also be detained and then unable to help her mother. That is a very, very scary situation to be in, and a very uncertain situation to be in, where even if you have followed the process, you've got a proper green card, you can still be detained. And I think so at this point her fear is valid. And there's also, she has lost trust in American systems, especially immigration systems, and lost trust and doesn't know whether she has the ability to approach these institutions or not.
My family is not being treated the way that the family deserves, and we followed all the parts of the law. It just feels like the law does not work right now, and it's because normally you would have a procedure how to do stuff. Like normally she would not be there at all, but she's there, and there is no procedure how to get her out, and I just don't know what to do. So if people have ideas like what can be done, how she can get back home, like that, I would also appreciate that, because I'm just trying to speak about it and see if someone has an idea what to do.
Well, thank you so much. I can't imagine what you're going through, and I hope that people can reach out and help, and that Congressman Khanna will also be able to help. Already finding your mother is, I'm sure, been a big help. I would say, I hope you are doing okay, but clearly, how could you be?
No, I'm not okay, but I'm trying to do my best to get my mom out.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all that.
Thank you for listening.
If you want to help bring Alevtina home, write your representative. Alevtina Soboleva, A240-031-600. To reach the family, use outreach at bringmymomhome.com. Use media at bringmymomhome.com. Links below. Remember her name, Alevtina Soboleva.
So, in the end, we see that Daria said that she followed the law, and now it feels like that the law doesn't work. And that is her experience in which procedures seem unavailable or opaque. We should be able to identify exact failure points rather than collapse everything into one phrase. Their apparent failure points are the family says officers did not clearly identify themselves. Family says the reason and paperwork were not clearly explained. Public locator allegedly did not reliably show location during intake and transfer. The family says promised messages and calls did not occur. Family reports a written statement that Alevtina had been deported when she had not. Alevtina reportedly described water, restroom restraint, ventilation, medical problems during transport, her neurobiological needs, and her existing medical conditions not being accommodated. The family says, like, again, glasses, hearing support, nothing were not, and not even adequate clothing to keep her warm was available. Her court case has not appeared on the docket until July 29. That's what I know. If we have a look at here. On her first hearing, so here we are. On August 12, day 24 of her detention, she is scheduled to stand before an immigration judge for the first time at an initial hearing where the government's charges against her will be read. I don't know even if they know what the charges are. If I go back up, let's have a look. A story, what happened in their words, voices, how to help press. That's for the press. Okay. Okay. What I will do now, and I will show you that this helps. Outreach, public outreach, and if you contact your local, Congress people, or your Congress members, your senators, it will help, because this has gone out into public sphere. This is on a website called localnewsmatters.org. It's an article about her, 59-year-old Sunnyvale woman detained by ICE at Buffalo Airport in New York. So I'll put it here in the live chat for you guys. And there is also an interview that Daria did about her mom. So it's also here. I'll put it in the live chat. So, in the end, I would like to close with 5 facts, 5 questions, and maybe 1 principle. The 5 facts are these. Alevtina was detained during domestic travel and moved through several states. Her family says it could not speak with her for 4 days. Family reports receiving incorrect information that she had been deported. The family says she experienced serious health, communication, and accessibility problems. Her case is active, and the latest campaign update says a first hearing is scheduled for 12th of August. We saw that on her website page. The 5 questions I have are these. I've written them down here. What exactly legal authority and charging theory support the detention? Why did the custody and court systems allegedly provide delayed or conflicting information? What medical and accessibility assessment occurred before and after transfer? Why was confidential counsel access not provided promptly according to the family? What will ICE or the facility say in response to the specific allegations about water, sanitation, restraints, records, and care? The one principle that I want to mention is simple. Government power does not become self-justifying merely because the subject is an immigrant. The greater the power exercised over a person, the greater the need for traceability, lawful procedure, accurate records, meaningful access to counsel, and basic care. I would encourage everyone to use this family's current public campaign page for updates and approved ways to help. Contact representatives respectfully. Do not threaten staff. Don't publish private information, or don't invent facts. Share the story accurately enough that it cannot be dismissed as exaggeration. I'll try and update the description if I get any more updates, or if we get any comments from any more comments from family, Alevtina's counsel, ICE, the facility, or if the court provides any further materials, or we get access to any materials from the court. So, because accountability is that we keep the record up to date on our side also. So, thank you for listening carefully, and please remember that behind every procedural argument is a real person whose life is being controlled by decisions she may not understand and cannot make for herself. Her name is Alevtina Soboleva. The light will stay on till she is home. Thank you everyone for joining me today, and thank you for your patience with me. 3 hours, 12 minutes, not bad for a 40-minute video. Yeah. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section, and if you have any comments, please do, respectfully. And as I said, we want the story to be told so precisely that it cannot be dismissed as exaggeration. This is for Daria and her mother, Alevtina Soboleva. Thank you everyone for joining me today. Have a good day. Bye-bye.